Hello, this is Photography Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Halo Infinite for the Xbox Series S. The game is also available for Windows, Xbox One and the Series X. Halo Infinite is an open world, first-person sci-fi shooter developed by 343 Industries. Once more you play as Master Chief as he fights against the Banished on the Forerunner ring Zeta Halo. Halo Infinite is the 6th mainline entry into the Halo series, and unlike the previous installments, the multiplayer part of the game is free to play. So what is the game like to play? Well, control-wise, it's a slick and smooth experience with responsive and tight gameplay controls. Master Chief has 2 weapon slots, grenades, a shield that refills over time, and a variety of gadgets that unlock throughout the campaign. You can scan the environment for threats, collectibles or weapon pickups, but in the early stages it's the use of the grappling hook that gives Halo Infinite a fresh feel. You can shoot it into a part of the environment and then get thrust forward at great speed. It can also be used to pick up distant firearms or get you up close and personal for quick melee finishes. The solo campaign starts out with the typical linear prologue before opening up into the first for the franchise, a large open world. But you're free to explore at your own pace. Aside from the main mission, there are FOBs, aka forward operating bases, to unlock. Clear them of enemies, and then you can use them for fast travel or to change your loadout. As you explore, you'll bump into a squad of allied soldiers to rescue, and once complete, they'll give you rewards that will allow more gear at the FOB. There are Spartan cores that will, once found, allow you to upgrade your available gadgets. You can hunt down targets akin to the assassinations list in the Assassin's Creed games, or just find enemy propaganda stations to blow up. Taking down large enemy facilities was the high point as you chip away one enemy at a time to clear out the area, and the size and scale of these locations was really impressive. One massive omission to the campaign was the absence of co-op play. No local split-screen co-op, no online co-op at all. It's very disappointing, and for my money it's a big missed opportunity to maximise the potential of the release. Because the campaign, for as good as some of the moments can be, I can't say it's got a great deal of replay value. So when the co-op does finally arrive around May 2022, I'm not sure people are going to be rushing back to replay this fairly generic open world structure and pretty unimaginative mission variety. The one saving grace for the campaign are the gadgets you unlock throughout the adventure. The grappling hook allows for some really good Hollywood blockbuster moments as you swing from sheer cliffs, escaping enemy fire, or just hijacking land or air vehicles. You'll have access to placeable shields, a booster for increased movement speed, and a type of grenade that renders enemy camouflage redundant. The only issue with the gadgets are the way in which you switch from one to the other. It uses the D-pad to do so, but not one press. You have to do one press in one direction, then one in another, and you have to memorize which one correlates with which. It just seemed like a clunky system, and it would have been better if you could just have allocated hotkeys yourself. The menu overlay doesn't really help that as well, and you'll often just be struggling in the chaotic battles trying to find the right gadget. In terms of enemies, the Banished were quite disappointing, and they felt like cardboard cutout renter villains. Saying that, combat-wise, they were pretty challenging, but some of them were bullet sponges and became a big chore to take down. Like, how many times do you have to shoot someone in the head before they drop? I mean, come on. The AI is a bit mixed, I would question the enemy vision, for example. It renders any sense of strategic stealth redundant. Like, you could be 400 yards away from an enemy behind a tree and they spot you with a perfect shot to your head. It's like, they didn't see me. There's like zero stealth in this game, which I think is disappointing because it would have been a nice feature. The boss fights, again, mostly disappointing. Some of them I did quite enjoy, but a lot of them felt more like mini bosses. They didn't feel like a proper boss, if you get what I mean. It felt like just a sort of a tiny boss from another game. Vehicle wise, again, mixed. Hover vehicles, flying vehicles, very nice. Warthog and buggies, absolute disaster to drive. Persisting with the kind of analog stick controls in terms of acceleration and turning, it really doesn't work at all. So the campaign, it's got its ups and downs. Some parts were pretty cool, with interesting story developments and some good missions, but I can't say the game had any characters with real depth. or any narrative that really was captivating. It's more like a sandbox feel where you can travel around, get involved in fun combat, and just let the narrative wash over you, but it's not something I think anyone would even remember a week later. One thing that really did disappoint me were the mission variety, or the lack of it. Go here, blow this up, go there, shoot that guy, go over there, etc, etc, you get the picture. It really just felt like a missed opportunity, and I would have liked to have seen the gadgets used a bit more in them, in particular the grappling hook, because that's really good fun to use. In terms of the game world itself, as impressive as it looks, it can be quite a chore trekking from A to B to complete fairly menial tasks. It reminded me a lot of Far Cry 5, which I'm actually playing at the moment as well. Large open spaces, but for the most part, very sparse, empty, devoid of any points of interest because, in an RPG, you'd have lots of characters to talk to. It's a first-person shooter. I don't think it lends well to open worlds because it's just shoot stuff, walk around, like there's no real conversation, interaction, or anything like that. One thing I did love was the great verticality, which leads to some really cool exploration moments as you grapple up mountains bit by bit, or just blow something up and jump off a cliff like James Bond. One other aspect I found strange was the ability to find multiplayer skins in the solo campaign. I mean, why not have collectibles that you can use in the solo campaign instead? It didn't make any sense to me, and you can't change Master Chief's appearance really. Finally, there is a free-to-play multiplayer mode, and I'd say it's pretty good if that's your thing. It's fun, it's smooth, it's entertaining, but there is a season pass. I have to say, progression-wise, they have changed it a bit, but the progression initially was so unbelievably slow. It was quite shocking how many times they think you're actually going to play it, like 1,000 times to get one cosmetic item. It was really, really badly thought out. Visually, the game, it's clean, clear, crisp, with no noticeable performance issue, but I would question whether this looks like a next-gen title. No, not really, I would say. It's more high-end, last-gen. I think the developers seemed like they've taken the decision to opt for stability and performance over visual flair. And you can understand that in the wake of games like Cyberpunk, but I can't help but feel they could have done much more. Sound-wise, the game is pretty good, to be honest. It's got that classic Halo theme, the action scene music is good, voice acting I would say is solid, some of the alien voices are cool, so yeah, audio I thought was very good. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? The controls are smooth and responsive, the weapon variety is fantastic, the graphics are solid and the audio is great for the most part, traversing the environment with the grappling hook is fun, and it's got some high quality action. What's bad? The mission variety is pretty poor, the open world despite its impressive verticality is quite an empty soulless place, the boss fights were simple and disappointing, the gadget equip function is muddled, the campaign has no local or online co-op, and the human land vehicles handle like a dog's dinner. So what's the verdict? Halo Infinite is a solid sci-fi shooter with some excellent combat, smooth controls, and stable graphics. But it's not exceptional and it doesn't push the boundaries. Instead, it plays it safe in areas from the graphical performance to the mission design. It's a game that badly needs co-op. Really badly, as I found it quite a struggle to play solo for anything more than an hour at a time. It's not a AAA classic, but it is a solid sci-fi open world first-person shooter that's fun when you're in the midst of the combat. But aside from those moments, it can be quite underwhelming and a bit dull. Co-op apparently is coming in May, but I still don't think that's really acceptable. Because the campaign isn't one that will live along in the memory. It's not like, oh my god, have you played the campaign in Halo Infinite? It's just like another sort of open world campaign, first person game. Missions, quite uninspired. Off the top of my head, there isn't a mission that I remember thinking, wow, that was really interesting, creatively done. So even when the co-op does arrive, I'm not sure everyone's going to rush back to play it. But, it's solid. So scoring wise, as it currently stands, I give Halo Infinite 7 out of 10. I think when co-op arrives, that will probably be 7.5. But even then, it's not going to be much more than that because the campaign, it's okay. It's not exceptional. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.